One was other thing where it says I'm running out of room IE template. Hashtag PC5, hashtag hosting. Those come from Tom and Jerry. Like pulling in all the Sony exclusives. Or pushing them to PC, I mean. Pain is full time. Have a good show.
Yeah. Yeah, can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. I gotta go eat time.
See you later.
Dude, are you muted?
Yes.
Are you certain? Because people in the chat saying they can hear you. They're saying not muted. Are you serious right now? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, when I'm not talking, I'm gonna mute myself because there is no little kids and stuff that's still up. So I'm gonna mute myself when I'm not talking because it's not a problem. Oh, what the Keely one? I actually think it was. I mean, there's levels of bad, but I actually think it was better than last year. That's what I'm saying. There's levels to it. There's levels to it. Rodman says now slow-mo scolding Forte for not muting. Yeah. It's a fire song. I'm about to turn it up over here. I hope it stays free. Oh, so like I found
Yo, what is up, guys? It is time for another great episode of the Damage Per Second podcast. It's been a long time. It's been a week. It feels like it's been more than that. It feels like it's been 2 or 3 weeks. But we here. It's 9 o'clock. Well, it's actually 9:05 because your boy started the countdown a little late. But I definitely want to welcome my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps. He slaps you all over the place, and he makes 16 videos at the same time. Slow-mo backslap. What has been up with you, sir?
Yo, what's up, y'all? Hey, look, if I sound a little off, I'm out on vacation with a blue snowball ice microphone. So look at this where it is, but I'm here. Time to have, DPS, another week, another podcast, but it's going to be a little extra special podcast. We will have the homie Lord Addict, Gaming Addict coming through from the ILP. We're going to be discussing some things. And definitely we got a lot of stuff that's come out this week to discuss. And we got the Xbox conference coming in, like 3 days? Is it 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days, man. 12th. This Sunday, what is it, 1 p.m. EST? It's going to be...
Yeah, 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go live. For that. So if you guys want to watch somebody basically... I'm going to be very honest and very, very objective.
Man, don't let
for
your
the show.
PC side
If you
come out.
no, if you want an objective view of what you're about to see, come on through to Slow-Mo Backslap channel. You'll see.
Oh man, you're already scaring the people off. Like, I ain't going over there, man. I'm about to go watch it somewhere else. But yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff like you said, man. And first of all, it's good to have you here. Like I said, we didn't have to do this, but definitely never want to miss a week. No days off, no weeks off, no anything when we can definitely do it. But outside
we got to shout out some members too.
Yeah, definitely. We got to shout out a couple of people that came through. So we had the homie Stardust Acero. He came through and became a 10%er. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate the love and support.
What's up, Stardust?
We also got the homie Enrique, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Shout out to him, man. That would plus another great show yesterday over on Brap's channel. Had a lot of really, really good conversations. We had Dreamcast guy in over there. We had Game Logic. The homie B Money was there. Slow-Mo missed out on some really great conversations, but I guarantee you he's probably listening to it, yelling at his phone as we were talking about things that he probably couldn't talk about. So
I tried to listen to a little bit of it. I was busy. I was busy with family and stuff, so it was kind of like I kind of had like one headphone on, one headphone off as I was kind of like passively listening while I was doing stuff. I'm out here in the mountains and stuff. It's been let me tell you about my vacation, man. First of all, like, vacations with family ain't really vacations, especially when you're the parent, because it's like you gotta like make sure that the kids are having fun. They're getting their activities done. They're excited. They're involved with things. That takes time. It takes like planning and stuff, man. I'd be just so tired. I'd be like, man, can't we just like relax for a little while? But I mean, it's been cool. It's been cool up here for the most part. I actually have got some extensive use with my Steam Deck since I've been up here because, I figured like, I'm a gamer, and I can't like not play games. So even though I'm away from my PC, my Xbox, I probably could have brought my Xbox Series S. Honestly, I probably could have brought that up. It's small enough, right? And I could have brought a little man with me, but and then but I'm not bringing my PS5 with me. I mean, like, how? Like, just freaking ice sculpture or something. But anyway, so Lucas says because it's portable. There's an inside joke with us. It's not portable, Luca. It's just small. It's not anyway. Let me stop. So
she's not lying.
She is lying. Anyway, so like I brought my Steam Deck, right? Steam Deck's cool. It's got some great positives, but it also I gotta be honest, it's got some stuff that just it needs to get worked on. It mostly software related, like the stuff that Valve needs to work out. Like I still have to use like this Bluetooth portable keyboard, with it because actually typing, especially when you go out of gaming mode into Steam OS, is terrible. Absolutely terrible. What else here? Every now and then, randomly, so because like I don't like using the controls on like portable handheld stuff. So I have an Xbox Series controller that I've been connecting through Bluetooth. And the first night I did it randomly, it was like it just kept vibrating. It wouldn't stop vibrating, and it wouldn't stop until I completely rebooted the Steam Deck. And then there was another time I was trying to play Road Company and the left thumbstick wouldn't work. So it's just like weird like that. But the software needs to get there. The everything else with the potential with it though is amazing. So I've been enjoying it. I've been playing a lot of Persona 4 Golden, a lot of Road Company, and a little bit of Fortnite, a little bit through xCloud, so it hasn't been too bad, but it's been cool.
But guess what, Slow-Mo? And we got a topic about it later, but you'll be able to play your Xbox without even having to take it out your house soon on any Samsung TV. But we'll get into that later on.
Well, you gotta have a certain Samsung TV, but still, we got a new guest here.
Yeah, we got another channel member. Shout out to Hargy Chani, the homie. He's a gunslinger. Yo, listen, gunslingers are for real, man. We all about putting on that crazy amount of damage, and that's what my man just did. But shout out to you, bro, for coming through and always supporting not only this show, the whole community. You're always doing your best to make sure that everybody else shines, and we really appreciate the love and support you give everybody. But shout out to some of the people in the chat that got here. We had our boy Ashtray Gaming. He was here first. Then we had the homie Erodimus. We Percolator. We also had Michi Poo come through. We had Percolator 9000, who really, really loves the intro song. We got Rip Sorta. We got him up in the chat. Brap is here. That guy Smitty, always here on time. We got only on Xbox calling me Uncle Forte. I'm hopefully that's not a reference to being like Uncle Phil, because I'm nowhere near that man. We got John the Don. Shout out to you for coming through. We got Martin Hunter coming through, and shout out to everybody else up in the chat. We got Sir Taz, he came through. Shout out to you, bro. And we got the mother of dragons, the Ashen Luca here, mother of hyenas and everything. We really appreciate you coming through. And the homie Gaming with Persona came through. One half of one of the best podcasts on the internet. What's Up PlayStation with his homeboy Jay Bari. Shout out to them. Looking forward to what they got to say on Saturday when it comes to what they saw at the Game Awards and everything too. So Slow-Mo, let's get into the topics, man.
You wanna introduce our guest?
Oh, is he here? I didn't hear him.
I've been here for like 5 minutes.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Like, I mean, for 5 minutes. I even said, "Hey, look, our guest is here." You just roll right past that.
Well,
just like you kept going.
Shout out to 1/4 of the amazing Iron Lords podcast. The man that plays games on the hardest difficulty and isn't ashamed.
Hey, Forza, you want to get the Discord off the screen?
I don't have the Discord on the screen, do I?
Yes, it's definitely on the screen.
If I'm looking,
are you okay for
at the chat? Are you serious?
How's the Discord on the screen? That's weird.
Look at the screen.
I'm looking at the screen. I'm trying to see how the Discord is.
This is
everyone else
going left.
Everyone else sees the Discord on the screen.
I don't see how the Discord should be on the screen, though. I see it. I don't know why it is. It's a completely different scene, but whatever.
Then exit out of it.
I did exit out of it.
Apparently not, because it's still somewhere.
Why is it showing the Discord on the screen?
See all the see all the servers Forte's in.
I don't know why that was showing on the screen, but whatever. Attic, welcome to the show, brother. How you been? Oh, first of all, I know you. Thank you for coming through, by the way, because you had a very, very long stream earlier. I know you were doing it with you and King, so shout out to you guys. That show almost ended 3 or 4 times, and you thought it was over. I thought it was over. Everybody thought it was over, and it just kept going. So tell everybody what's been going on with you, man, and thanks for coming through.
I'm pretty good, man. I struggled to get through that stream. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple times where I was like, "Do I need to be here? Do I absolutely need to be here?"
You do have to be here, but we're happy that you're here today. But slow mo. Once again, let's get into the first thing, and I broke this down into just basically being one topic, just talking about our.
Hey,
Go ahead.
before you do that,
Go ahead.
we got a super chat from
Go
Hargi Shani, the $2 super chat saying, Forte, your mic volume is a little low.
Oh, see, look, he said I'm low, slow mo. You be talking about how I'm yelling in my
Jeez,
mic.
Forte. Like, Slomo, are you sure you don't need to host these?
I mean, I would, but it's like I'm on vacation. I'm on a laptop with a
You-
blue snowball microphone right now. It's like this is the best I can do at the moment.
Nah, I just be trying to turn it down because slow mo always tell me that my mic is peaking, so I turn it down a lot.
But it's not peaking. Well, we'll get into that later. It's not. We can discuss the whole microphone stuff later. It's no big deal.
Nah, but in general, slow mo. Getting into the first topic when it comes to Summer Games Fest, I'll turn it over to the guest first because I know he got a chance. He did an actual live stream and he was paying attention to every little nook and cranny that was going on at this show. So, Addict, tell me your thoughts just in general about the show, and then we'll get into the things that we liked and the things we didn't like about it.
I think the show was a good show. There's a lot of content on there I didn't care about, but I do think that it was a little shady at the beginning with pacing, but I feel like the pacing got better towards about 20-30% of the way through, and it was pretty good pacing the rest of the show. There's a couple good announcements in there, but I do feel like a lot of these developers and publishers are holding their own announcements because there wasn't a lot there.
Okay.
I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah, what'd you think, Slow-Mo?
I think it was a slightly better show than his Summer Game Fest show last year, which I thought was abysmal, which isn't like really that like so I'm not saying it's good. It's just like not as bad as last year's show. Last year's show, he had so much like he had musical acts that no one wanted to see. He had all these commercials everywhere. And it was a lot of filler that was just basically trying to hide the fact that he didn't really have a lot of games to show, especially considering the way it was all spread out and everything. But I think this one was paced a little bit better. My major negatives with it is that if all you got is concept art, that doesn't need to be shown. Like what's like Storm? Was it Storm? Like the one that's the RTS game that's made by former Blizzard developers. Is it Storm Force
You
or
wouldn't
something
even
like that?
yeah. I can't remember what the name was, but you wouldn't even know it's an RTS. Like I
Yeah,
looked up what they made like during the show, and that's how I knew.
yeah. And like they get like when he started talking about RTS, I was like, wait, that's an RTS. I thought it was going to be like a arena shooter or something. Like the way the trailer was, it didn't give me any indication that this is an RTS game. And I like all they had was concept art. Like if all you really got to show was some concept art, you know what? That doesn't really need to be here. I'm glad they didn't have the musical acts, but like it just seemed like to me it's like the whole first half of the show, every game was in space
Right.
or had like some kind of anime feel to it. It just seemed like that was like the theme of every game to the point where like I think the cadence of that was done poorly because they started to blend together. Like people would
Yeah.
talk about, hey, this game's going to be exclusive to Series X and PC, and I was like, which one is that? Because I've seen like 3 or 4 space games. I knew Callisto Protocol was like different, right? But like all this, like there was a Aliens one. Then there's like whatever that exclusive game is. I can't remember the name of it. And there's just like everything's in space, and you had them back to back to back. It wasn't good. It wasn't paced well. But again, I say it's better than last year, which. I mean, there was a few games I saw that I was like, all right, I might have to check that out. But like, I mean, for the most part, the show was kind of blah.
Yeah. Just in general, man, the show, it was super like it started out like I'd say, oh, Street Fighter came out. I'm like, okay, cool. And shout out to everybody that say they like fighters. If you're on Xbox, I hope you do support this game to prove that it should have come to Xbox last time when it came to Street Fighter V. This would give everybody that opportunity to prove that they actually wanted to play the game and not just talk about a game that was on another platform. So I definitely want to see people out there playing and supporting it. But it started out strong when it came to that because that Street Fighter gameplay looked fire. I was like, yo, this looks really good. And then it fell off a cliff when I saw Aliens. And I was like, as much as I love Aliens, I haven't got a good Alien game since Alien Isolation. It did. Go ahead.
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say like we just had Aliens Fireteam Elite, so it's just like there was just an Aliens game that was very similar to this already. That just came out like in what was that, January or late last year?
It was
so it's
August last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about
it's
that
a
game.
little different because it's like the one that came out last year was third person, where this one is over the top. So it has the same.
Oh yeah, it's a twin stick shooter too, right?
Yeah, it's a twin stick shooter, which can work. I can definitely see it working, but I'm just
Not for me.
I'm
But
just
all right.
I'm just not.
I'm already out.
I'm just not feeling just because of. I just haven't. I don't know. I just have. And then they show. And my whole biggest thing with this, and I guess, like I said, I'll just talk about in general. My biggest problem with this overall show was it wasn't the lack of diversity inside of it. There was a lot of variety when it came to the games they were showing. And a lot of, just like Addy said, a lot of the stuff wasn't for me, but it just came off like.
You thought there was variety? Really?
They showed a lot of stuff.
There was a decent amount of variety.
They showed a lot of
just,
stuff.
I don't. It didn't really appeal to me.
That's what it is.
Like,
it did.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think the biggest issue, Forte, in slow-mo is like, this is what happens when you run something and you don't own studios. You don't own anything to actually show your own stuff. So it seemed like he was just at the mercy at what people was willing to give him.
Exactly.
I mean, he didn't really have any. I mean, he ended it with The Last of Us, which I guess that's worthy of ending a show, I guess. I mean, I think I would have preferred to see the Callisto Protocol or whatever it's called. I think I would prefer to see that at the end, because look, Last of Us is good, but it's still a 2013 remake game. It's just like, I was more impressed by that Protocol gameplay I saw than the game I've already played. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's just
but Keely's very much a very a splash kind of dude. You know, he's always his last game is always like last year I think it was Elden Ring, you know, which I mean justifiably so, but still he's always into. You compare a brand new IP with Callisto versus a well-known IP of a game that within the series has won a game of the year, and then I can see in Keely's mind, I need to go have that be the one more thing, the thing at the end. And I guess what also kind of messed things up was the fact that it got leaked earlier in the day, so that kind of definitely took some of the luster off of it. But I see what you mean, because Callisto. Oh yeah, they all seemed upset. They kept bringing it up. I was just like, oh yeah, they kind of pissed about that. Somebody at PlayStation is getting fired.
If you're mad, man, be better at not leaking shit. Someone leaked that. Someone I mean, it might not be someone he knows. But you get what I'm saying? Someone the company knows. So
it was definitely somebody at Sony, because it was leaked by them, right?
Yeah.
So it was so somebody pulled the trigger a little too early, which, you know, unfortunate as it is, it's probably that person's probably looking for a new job right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like I said, that was my whole kind of takeaway that Addict put, is this is part of the reason why I feel as much as people say we don't need E3, we actually do. We may not need the essence of what E3 was, but we need the structure of what it gave. We knew what shows were the ones we wanted to watch. We knew if we wanted to watch EA play. We knew if we wanted to watch Ubisoft Connect. We knew when these shows were coming and stuff like that. And you could avoid that stuff if you wanted to, and not have to worry about sitting down for 2 hours and getting an experience of a mosh podge of a bunch of different things that you don't really truly care about. And I think that's kind of what suffered in this show. There was some really good games, some really good showcases inside of it, but it just felt it seemed all over the place. And granted, I think that's kind of the point of it, just to show that there's a lot of different games for a lot of different people. But I just didn't. I found myself up and down, and most of the time it was just down. But getting into some of the actual games they showed, let's
Hey, you want?
go ahead.
Let's hit
Yeah,
the
let's
super
get to
chat
let me get
real
to
quick
super
before
chats
we
real
do that.
quick. Shout out to Ramon Terrell with the $5 Canadian super chat. The end of the show reminded me of how much I missed the fun times with Naughty Dog when I smiled instead of wanting to jump off the building. Shout out to you, bro. The Ashen Luca with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Says, I checked out mentally. I fear the Callisto Protocol looks so amazing, but combat may be a bit too similar to Dead Space. We'll see how it's different. And
what's kind of crazy about that game?
Mhm.
Like, I can understand a game being inspired by a game, but they literally jacked their
Oh, no, they
whole
copied that
style.
game.
Like, they even copy the death game. Well, how you gonna die? How you gonna die? Like when I saw him get thrown into that little generator or whatever it was, like it was awesome. But I was like, yo, I think I seen that in Dead Space. Like,
yeah,
But it is them, right? It's like even though their studio got shut down, it's still those like I mean for the most part like the
those
original devs
developers.
of Dead Space. So like I do get it like that why they would kind of like do a lot of those callbacks. I do kind of wonder, kind of to Lucas' point about them being so similar. I also kind of wonder. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially like a month too later, we're getting like the Dead Space
Yeah, I was
1
about to say
remake.
that.
So.
Yeah. It's like a month later, so I kind of wonder if like people like I think Callisto's first, right? So
They
when
sure
Callisto comes
are.
out, and if that really hits, I wonder how people will kind of like receive the Dead Space remake. I do kind of think like Dead Space fans won't care, and I think what may kind of help EA is the fact
We'll
that
get
it's
into
a
that.
remake.
That's the next topic anyway. We get to that right after this.
Okay.
Because that's literally the next topic, talking about just that one thing. But in general, what was some of the games that you liked at the show, and what was a game that you could be like, I don't know why it's here?
I like Witchfire. Witchfire probably was the one game I thought of the most. I was like, yeah, I definitely gotta play that when that comes out. It looked pretty cool. I liked what they were. It seemed like they were kind of going with there with like the motivation of the game. It seemed. So I think when that one comes out, I'll definitely be very interested in jumping in on that.
Okay. What
What about you, Addict?
Yeah, you Addict.
He's muted. Okay, he's there.
Yeah, my mic's being messed up. I'm having stuff going on over here. What was the question?
Give us a game that
was the one game
at the show that you liked.
It was Protocol. Like I enjoyed what I saw on that. I really liked Marvel, the Midnight Heroes or whatever it's called.
The card game.
I got to see more. I was wishing they would show more gameplay on that, but they didn't really do too much. It's kind of interesting. I expected more from the show, like as far as like announcements in general. I don't know why I expected more, but I did.
Yeah. I think that's the same thing for me. Callisto just kind of stole it, especially when I mean, being a huge Dead Space fan, when I saw just the animations and stuff, the stomping on the ground, I was like, this is straight robbery. But that was something I was really, really excited to see. And then just in general, as much as people kind of crap on it, I really liked the fact, and it got leaked out, but the Last of Us stuff actually looks really, really cool. That like they show the comparisons of what it used to look like versus what it will look like now, and we can get into the whole discussion later on about if this actually needed to happen. But I was really, really happy to see that game is going to probably get a little bit more shine. But there's some other things with that game that I kind of don't agree with. But in general, I was happy to see that they actually are doing something with that game to move forward with the narrative overall. Shout out with Dirk Griggity with the $10 super chat. He says Callisto Protocol looked dope, and I love the Dead Space vibes. It definitely looks to be a clone, but it is what it is. Great show, fellas. Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Looking forward to what you guys got to say over on We Bleed Green when you guys have y'all show. But Somo, what was something you didn't like about this show? What was one of the games that you was, or something in general that you was like, why did they do that?
once again, the whole product placement, advertisement stuff that Keeley just can't get enough of. And I understand he's got bills to pay. He's got to put on a show. He's got to pay people that are a part of the process of getting it put together. That said, like, I know some people enjoyed The Rock, and I generally enjoy the stuff that The Rock is in. It just, for some reason, like today, I was just like, bro, wrap it up, Rock. Like, come
He
on,
was
man.
talking
Like,
a lot too.
talking a whole lot. I mean, he put everything that he is currently advertising, his Zoa energy drink, Black Adam. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a whole elliptical set or something that he was about to advertise. He was in the gym or something. It was just like, bro, come on, man. Like, just wrap this up. This has nothing to do with gaming, really. Like, and that's what, like, I think what Keeley shows that really irks me is like he has so much stuff in it that doesn't really have anything to do with gaming so often.
Right.
I did say that it was a little bit better this year compared to last year because he didn't have like Green Day come out and just like perform a song from like 1996, but like he does stuff like that, and it's just like, look, I like Green Day, I just don't like Green Day doing the video game showcase.
Right.
You know, I like The Rock, and I'm gonna check out Black Adam. That trailer looked awesome. Ain't got nothing to do with video games right now, so I don't want to see it. So like that's the kind of stuff that I thought was bad.
All right. What about you, Addict? Addict.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I didn't really appreciate the Fall Guys coming back up. It's like I've seen this everywhere. Like, I'm pretty sure he's had this game there every time this thing that he's ever done anything. Like like a new season. Like, it's just like, dude, we get it. Like, we get it, Fall Guys. We already got the announcement. It would be different if he like showed us the announcement at coming to Xbox, but he didn't. Like that was weeks ago. Like what you doing? Like.
Yeah, that was that was like one of the weird things that happened at the show. I was like, hey, they're actually talking about Fall Guys again. Okay, sure. I will agree with you on the one thing. So I do think the product placement stuff like that is kind of the thing that kind of irked me the most. Like,
I actually didn't have a problem with it this year. I felt like it wasn't intrusive. Like, you could notice it, but it wasn't like last Video Game Awards.
Yeah, it wasn't like last year. I do think the only thing, like, he touched on the Rock thing, and I love the Rock, man. He came out there and does this thing. He did the same thing at the Super Bowl too. It like he put his monologue on. He raised his eyebrow. Shout out the eyebrow still looks as good as it looked back in 1990. But I think it just went on way too long. Like I was looking up while I was watching y'all stream, Addict. I was like, he's still talking. And when it got to that point, I was like, okay, we need to kind of move on from this. But outside of
I don't mind the product placement when it's about video games. Like they actually had commercials for games that were like kind of like interwoven in between the reveals, which like you almost didn't even realize that was a commercial. You know, but it was just like, oh, okay, well, you know, hey, look, it's about video games, so I don't care. Like if you got a commercial, you just run the trailer for like a Nintendo game that in between your two space games that you just showed us, then cool. I'm cool with that. It's just like when they got nothing to do with games is when I'm just like, okay.
Right. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much the rundown of that, man. But in general, if you had to give it a score, just on your experience, and this is just a 1-day show too. It's nothing else happening around this show, is it? I don't think so, right?
I think he might have something else coming up. I mean, like, I don't think it's like the first year he did it where it was just like little things dripped all throughout the summer. But I think he might have like another. That was really bad. But I think he might have something else coming up. I'm not 100% certain on that though.
Okay, cool. So,
I don't know. I feel like that was it.
That's what I'm feeling. That was it. So what do you give this? What if you had to give it a score, Addict? What would you give it?
7 out of 10. I don't think it was bad. You know, as far as someone that, you know, I think this had something for everybody, but I don't think it had like a lot for any one person, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. What about you, Sloma?
I'd give it a 6.
Yeah,
6 out of 10.
That's where I'm at. Literally a 6 out of 10. It was mostly and partly because it was a lot of stuff that I don't care about. Like there's games there that I actually like, but I just felt like the games that were picked were, like Addict said, they were like the hand-me-downs that people were willing to donate to the show. And at that point, is it really his fault? Because, you know, people aren't ready to show the things that they want to show, or maybe they understand that they have a window in mind that they can showcase their own games the way that they want to do
I
it.
think he struggled to have things to show. Again, like
Yeah.
when you're showing concept art, you know, for multiple titles.
For multiple titles, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really have a lot. And then in that case, like I thought it was almost like 2 hours. Like I don't think it needs to be that long. Like if you don't have a
45 minutes at the most, honestly.
yeah, I would have zero problem with a 45-minute show. If all you showed me was great looking games, gameplay, or like a new announcement of a game with a cool looking trailer, and you just and it was just like really like focused on that. The cadence is really good, and it's just 45 minutes. I'm good with that.
Right.
You don't have to have an hour and 45-minute show. And then part of it is like a large part of it is dev interviews, talking to devs and about their game, and all they showing me is concept art. I'm good with that. I don't need to see that.
I actually felt like they spent too much time on Call of Duty.
Oh, 10 minutes, bro.
Oh, I agree with that. Talk about water and stuff. Who gives a crap about water and Call of Duty? Come on, man.
If you think about it, if you really think about it and you look about like the landscape of gaming right now, it's like the time for remakes. Modern Warfare 2, Dead Space, Last of Us. Like it's kind of crazy how many games are coming back.
Soon to be Gears trilogy. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
Maybe.
true.
You're right. So with that being said, let's move over to the next topic. It was like I said, it was a decent show. I gave it a 6 out of 10, but it could have been better. But I just don't think he had anything really to show because nobody wanted to give him anything. But
yeah, and I think that's going to be an issue going forward. It's like you know, at least when you do a PlayStation show, you expect PlayStation stuff. When you do an Xbox show, you expect Xbox stuff. EA, same thing. Like that was the difference between like E3. The ESA didn't have their own like conference. They just put everyone else's conference under their brand.
mm-hmm.
And like I feel like he wants to be that person with the big announcements, and maybe certain companies like Microsoft I wouldn't necessarily say set them up to fail, but it's like when you go to the Game Awards and you're able to announce the Xbox Series X, I think that's gonna hype you.
Right.
You know, you might even think that's the type of announcements you're gonna have going forward. You know.
Hey, Alec, you know, now that you said that, a question has popped in my head. Do you think that he's saving some of his better stuff for the Video Game Awards, the bigger event that he does?
And then at that point, I feel like the Video Game Awards, it's primarily an awards with announcements. Like we might go there for the announcements, but it's built around the awards. Like this is built around announcements.
Yeah.
So it's just like at that point you're sacrificing one hand to save the other. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, but like if the Video Game Awards is the bigger event for him, like he gets the most eyes on that, then I can see him like I have the option of showing, I don't know, like some amazing game that like, or say, let's say another huge announcement, like potentially a new platform being announced or something like that. Am I going to show that at Game Fest, or am I going to show that at the Video Game Awards? It's probably going to be the Video Game Awards.
But at the same time, his goal is to pretty much ensure that the E3 is never coming back. You know, like he wants that spot, he wants that recognition. He even said next year his event will be in person. So, but it's just like when you hold guns back for another event, I feel like by next year, E3, the ESA might be back on their feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like
that's a reach with the ESA, man.
I don't
they
think
a little.
The ESA is gone. I don't think the ESA is gone.
They're not gone, but they're terrible. And so because they're terrible at what they do, it's and plus with the pandemic and then them sucking, that has ended in this result where a lot of these publishers realize, wait, but why am I spending millions upon millions of dollars to go to this event to do the same thing I could do on my own without the ESA, and I'm doing all the other work to put my show together anyway. I can just save myself some money, pre-record this, and then just scream it out to the world and still get the same amount of eyes on it that I would get if I went to LA to do this. So it's just like that I gotta like fly all my people out there. It's just like I feel like, like as much as the gaming community loves E3, that it's become a little archaic as far as the companies are concerned. And I think the ESA really dropped the ball in allowing the companies to realize that with all of their mishandling with things, their mishandling things with the gaming media, their inability to adjust to what's happening in the gaming industry, and then their whole slant with like trying to go the celebrity route that really kind of pushed EA and Sony away from doing the show. Like when they saw Sony was like, I'm not really down with the direction you're going, they should have put a stop to what their direction was. And look, this is one of the bigger people that you want to have at your event. They're about to bounce because of the direction you're going, and they just like completely oblivious, went head first into it, and here we are. So it's just, I mean, like, yeah, they're definitely planning on coming back next year, but they said that like last year, and I kind of figured like,
yeah, but we just
you ain't coming
recently
back
just
this year.
started having public events again. So, I think they probably put the curtains up a little bit too soon. I'm not saying they're going to come back and be what they used to be. But what I will say is I do feel like in game, Jeff wants to do something similar to E3. Not E3, but something similar to E3. So right now it starts as a conference. Then then he's trying to get people together in a building. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like ESA's approach was better to let everybody under one brand do something and not try to do your own thing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Nope, I agree 100%. Moving on to the next thing, let's talk about this Dead Space, man. Let's talk about Dead Space. Let's talk about Callisto Protocol. I will start. I feel like this is bad for Dead Space because it is literally ripping off the game in every fashion possible. Second of all, it wouldn't be as bad if it was coming out first. If Dead Space was out first, I think it would be a nice, like, kind of send off to the original style that the game was built in. But the fact that this game is coming out second, I think it might get passed over by a lot of people. Now, people that love Dead Space, like myself, I think are going to go out and try this game. But I think it's literally a month and a half at most that they haven't given the exact date for Dead Space remake. I know it's in January, but it's within a month to 2 months, basically. So my thoughts to you guys is there anything that they can do to kind of not salvage it, but make this game stand out a little bit more versus Callisto? Or is it just going to be Callisto's to lose when it comes to taking over the mind share from people when it comes to this game coming out?
I think Dead Space will be all right. Maybe they could reach out to, services like PlayStation Plus and, Game Pass to try to make up for the money they might lose off them being too similar, because there are going to be people it's like, look, I've played Dead Space, I haven't played this, and they're going to choose the new thing,
right?
But I do feel like the audience that was going to pick up Dead Space was already kind of small in the general. I think it was going to sell well, but I don't think it was ever going to push numbers,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And it's one of those games that's going to take time to make money, like a lot of money. Like, I feel like if money is the issue and they want to make sure they make as much money as possible, get in that Game Pass, take that check from Microsoft, get that in PlayStation Plus, take that check from PlayStation. That's the only way they could really get that up. I don't see anything they can do besides make a good product. Because at the end of the day, if you make a good product, people are going to buy it. But there is the issue of both the products are good. If both those games are good games, then there's going to be a lot of issues on picking which one. But we're hardcore. We're probably going to have them both anyway. It's the casual they got to fight over.
Right, but I don't think this is like look. I'm not a Dead Space fan, so like I'm talking out of ignorance.
We know you're
here.
not
I'm
even
just
gonna
talking
play.
from.
You're not even gonna play these games.
I'm
so.
not even playing. I'm not playing either one of
Subscribe
these
to the Ben
games.
Master Guild to make them play.
I will watch other people play this game, and I will get my popcorn, and I'll have a great time, right? But I think this is more of like a hardcore kind of gamers game anyway. Like I don't really see casual gamers jumping on either one of these. So, like I think. For the most part, Dead Space is going to be fine because I think the same people that are hyped for Callisto and were hyped to hear about the Dead Space remake are going to get both of them. I feel like I feel like people like Luca and Forte, you're getting both games, so I don't really think like they have that much of a problem. Now, I could see people like playing the remake. And if Callisto was like isn't that whole grapple thing and then throwing people into fans and Callisto like kind of newish compared to what Dead Space is doing, right? Right? Forte?
Yeah.
Okay. So like if Callisto has a lot more stuff like that, where it's basically has taken Dead Space's formula, its game design, and iterated over it enough, to actually make it like significantly a better product overall and a better gaming experience overall. People playing that and then go and playing that, I think people will still buy Dead Space or still play Dead Space, but then afterwards kind of go like, man, that Callisto really did one on me, because now it's like I can't go back to this and really enjoy it the way I was going to if Callisto didn't come out first, you know. And that could be even with EA. Like the game looks beautiful for what I've seen, you know. In Frostbite's always been an engine that you can make some really amazing visuals in. Like, but then you got to deal with the whole like buggy issues because Frostbite games have been like I don't know, they've been really difficult to make sure it's the game is great at launch and not have a bunch of issues at launch, but. If they can to basically give people the same feeling that they got from the first game and just maybe do some like quality of life improvements, modernize it for 2022 or 2023, I guess it is, then it should be fine. But I do kind of feel like Callisto might kind of like dampen the mood for it a little bit.
I was going to eat into it, bro. Easily. At least that's what I think. But I think in general, it's just going to come down to people that are interested in one or the other is going to pick that one. And I do think Attic has a really big point, especially with Callisto coming out in November. It really depends what the first half of the year looks like, because if there's really nothing in the beginning of January towards the middle of February, it's a good chance that people will try that, especially if they really, really did like Callisto. They'll be like, you know what, let me go back and experience Dead Space again. I just think it's going to take a little bit of more marketing on their end to get that out, because there's going to be people that's going to think that this is Dead Space. They're going to be like, no, this is Dead Space. And that's, I'm not going to say it's going to confuse the market or anything, because, I don't think the IP is that big in order to do something like that on either side. But it's just a really interesting thing to see that one game made by developers that made the other, and then you just happen to have the remake of that game coming out and it just sitting where it is. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation to see where that's going to go. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Really appreciate everybody coming through. Let us know what you think of the situation. Let us know what you thought about the Game Awards. We do have a poll running right now where, as of right now, everybody's saying, 62% says it was okay, wasn't horrible. 19% said it's good. 20% of you guys said either I didn't watch it or it was terrible. So shout out to you. But let's move on to the next thing, which is Slow-Mo, this Last of Us situation. So I know you were looking at a lot of the information. You saw Tom Henderson actually leak out the information around the game being announced at the Game Awards and it coming out this year. So why don't you lead us on?
That wasn't Tom.
I mean, not Tom.
That was actually...
That was what's his name, not Tom Henderson.
That's the only PlayStation leaker out there. What's it? The Snitch
Yeah,
is his name
Snitch,
on
yeah.
Twitch or something like
Yeah, he
that.
literally
Yeah, it was
showed
just,
up out of nowhere and literally leaked a bunch of stuff. And
yeah, he's the only absolute reliable one.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you said?
he it's crazy how accurate his leaks are. Like,
Yes.
both
it's not
of
even
them.
like he literally leaked the entire state of play. Like, he didn't get nothing
Yes.
wrong. And if you look at the
Not a single
page,
thing wrong.
all it was in order. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the order of everything showing up too. Yeah. He's the only good PlayStation leaker, but he leaked it. Although, like the way he leaked The Last of Us Part 1 had people thinking that it was going to be PC day and date, which that would have been awesome. I would have loved that because just to see the salt all over my timeline would have been beautiful. But that said, it looks like according to Neil Druckmann, he said it would be the PC version will be coming out shortly thereafter. So I'm thinking probably still sometime this year, just not right at launch in September,
closer
like
and
the
closer
PC
to that day
version.
and date.
Yeah, it's getting there. In regards to the topic of whether is it really needed? Of course, it's not needed. We didn't need. They had a remaster this last generation, and it's still playable. It still looks good. You know, was it needed? Absolutely not. But did Sony see that like this IP is hidden and it works, it's lit, and they're gonna make money off of it? Absolutely. So whether it's needed or not, people are going to buy this in droves, even though it's $70 with no factions in it. Although you do get the Left Behind DLC included in that, people are still going to buy it like crazy. So yeah, I mean, like they're going to make out really well with this, especially when it hits PC. I think it's going to do really well on PC.
Shout out to Sir Taz with the membership. I asked him, said, why you sub the slow-mo and not to my channel? He said, well, you don't have any typos in your topic list, I'll sub. And shout out to him, he finally did it. Shout out, no typos, hashtag fail check. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you. Well, go ahead, finish what you're saying.
I'm done.
I think in general that this definitely didn't need to happen. Like you spoke to it 100% when it comes to, we just got a remaster of the game. And the reason they did a remaster, remember, Slumbo, they said there's a good amount of people that didn't have PlayStation 3s during that generation, and we wanted to give these people the experience to play that game on the PlayStation 4. That was also the mindset around the collection for Uncharted too. They did the same thing with that in mind too. And guess what? We also got that moved up to PS5 too. So I'm wondering, all those people that had PlayStations didn't play those games initially, so they're still just, you know, consistently remastering or bringing them up to code to work on the new systems, which I don't have a problem with. That's fine. I think the biggest problem I
will say this though.
Go ahead.
That story, which I think I enjoy,
That's the
part
better
one story more than part two, right? With part 2's gameplay.
Ooh, yeah, they did say that's something they did.
That might be worth another run through the game. I mean, I played through it like twice already, but like that might be worth a third run through of that story to play it with, like, you know, the more advanced version of that gameplay from part 2. Yeah, I'll be down for that. On PC, of course, because you know, like shortly thereafter tells me it's going to be a couple of months to where I can play this with, you know, a higher fidelity, higher frame rates, you know, like better graphical settings, all the stuff that like you get on PC that you don't get on consoles, like all of that. Yeah, I'll wait a couple months for that. You know, it's not that big a deal. Plus, it's a remaster. Like, so what, right? If it was a brand new game, I'm not waiting. But a remaster, I mean, sorry, a remake.
I mean,
yeah,
at this point, if you haven't played the game, you can. I would just wait for a sale. But speaking on price, Attic, what do you think about the $70 price tag for this game?
I think it's a little
Honest.
ridiculous,
Okay.
considering it's not the actual $60 title that we got in 2013. There's no multiplayer. You know, I guess they are bundling on the DLC, the standalone DLC. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, but didn't you get that with the remaster and when it came out for the PS4?
You did.
And you got the PvP portion as well. So it's just like, look, like if you feel like you don't need to buy this because of that, I understand that. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like what other options do we really have, really? Like realistically, you just not gonna play it?
Yeah, that's not gonna
I
happen.
mean, with that's what it always comes down to for me. I always say that, like, we get into these discussions about what's worth what, and like they priced it at this much, like, but this is missing or that's missing, or in the case of like Nintendo, they didn't do anything to the game and they're charging more.
Mhm.
Like those kind of situations, I always say this, regardless of where I fall on whether I feel like it's worth it to me or not, that cost value is subjective and it's going to be different for every person. Like the three of us on this panel, like one of us could say like, man, I'm buying that's worth it to me, and then another one of us could be like, or two of us could be like, nah fam, not for $70. I'll wait for it to go on sale or whatever, or I'll wait for it to hit 50 or whatever. Like that's fine. If that is what you think the value of that game is, go for it. Like, because that's what it is to you personally. I never go at anybody who feels like no game is worth $70. Even though I kind of feel like that's a little much when people say no game is worth a certain price, because I feel like if it's a game that you love and they do a remake of it, like if you absolutely love, say like I love Chrono Trigger, if they did a remake with Chrono Trigger in the vein of like a Final Fantasy VII remake, I don't care what the price is. It could be $500. Guess I'm spending $500 on this remake because that's what I'm getting it, right?
Right.
And so like really, like it's like the value is really about what it is for you. Like if even though they wouldn't do this, but Playground came out here and said, hey, add it. That Fable remake about to be $90 at launch, and it's not going to be in Game Pass. Which are you going to? I'm boycotting. I'm not doing it, right? Or are you going to get the game?
First thing I'm hitting up is IOP. I need to review this game, so I think we gonna
right. You're gonna find a way. You're gonna find a way to get that game, right? So it's just like it's a subjective thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the game, it's clearly a difference. Like this isn't one of those you could barely tell a difference. There's a huge difference between the versions. So it's just like, look, I think this was mainly done for branding purposes, so they could put that part 1 on there. Because I think if they do continue the Last of Us franchise, they're going to continue with that kind of segment. So it's like, look, like they had to do it for their branding purposes, and if you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't, then shut up. Like,
yeah, that's the best way to look at it too. Honestly,
I do 1000% think there's going to be a part 3 at some point. I think that's definitely somewhere in pre-production, somewhere in Naughty Dog. I think there'll definitely be a part 3 at some point. So yeah, I do think the branding is probably a good part of it too.
Abby.
I think Abby would be in it, but I don't know if she'll be like the main character. We'll have to see.
The fact that they named it part 1 pretty much tells you all you need to know. Like,
yeah, I think a lot of people would have been more happier if, like I said, I don't think the $70 in general is a big problem. I just think the lack of content that was there available, like there's nothing to supplement that difference. Like, the first one, like you said, had multiplayer, but they supplemented the first one by giving you the DLC and the multiplayer. I mean, they break everything over, but now they're just giving you the DLC, but they're doing a completely separate multiplayer, which we can dive into right after this. But I just think if they would have gave maybe not even a remastered version of not a remaster, but a remastered version of the first one or the second one. I mean, if they would have did that, I think people would have been happy too. Like just give you a voucher code for the second one along with the purchase of this game and stuff. That would have helped out with people too.
Oh wait, a remaster of part 2?
Like just what I mean remaster, like bring it up to bring overall, because what did they give it with it doesn't have a PlayStation version of the PlayStation 5 version of the game, but you do get the enhanced 60 frames per second and stuff like that. I forget.
Right.
I forget what they gave you, but I think that they should at least they could have. Well, I'm not gonna say they should have. I'm just saying it would have been nice to get like a version of the PlayStation 4 version for the PS5 that you could play on your system as a code that came with your disc. I think that would have been another great olive branch for them to actually do when it comes to that, just to give more value to the package in general. But like Alex said, ultimately, shut up. If you don't want to buy it, oh well, just don't buy it. I mean, me personally, I will probably sit out and wait until this game drops to be like $40 or something like that. Then I'll pick it up because there is value there, because I do see the differences when they started showing side by side comparisons of the game. I was like,
It's
"Yo, that looks
night and
really
day.
yeah,
Night
it's
and day.
night and day." Like you can see that they put work into it, but I just don't know. It goes back to the whole thing. Like I didn't buy. Returnal was a
They
brand
also
new.
they also use technology to completely redo the mocap as
Yeah,
well,
exactly. So
without actually having the actors come back in to do the mocap, which I thought was pretty cool when they explained that.
yeah, so
I
go ahead.
I think that's also probably the reason why they had to break their silence on factions too, or
Mhm.
whatever they're gonna call it, because the whole idea of like, wait a minute, so this is you're charging $70 for this, but this is missing content from from before. Yes, it looks better. Yes, it's going to perform better, and the gameplay is going to be better, but there's missing content, and I think they felt like they had to do that in order to like let people know, hey, look, well, I know you're probably wondering where factions is. This is why they felt the need to even show concept art to kind of like let people know, hey, look, we are working on this. And but then the fact that they show all they could show was concept art tells me I don't even think it's coming out next year. Like I think it's going to be like a 2024 standalone game.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
You feel like it would make sense. They did a God of War thing. They said, and they formally announced it because they knew if they announced the remake of the first one, they would get laughed off stage. So they had to do something with that. The fact that there wasn't any info really on factions, considering how long they've worked on factions, means that that I don't think that game was ever intended for the second Last of Us Part 2. I think that's something that was afterthought. Oh, we're getting a lot of backlash for not having factions. Now we got to make one. I don't think that was ever in development during the Last of Us Part 2 development. Because look how long it's took. Yeah, I feel like you could have made that. You probably could have made 2 of them by now. Like it's been what 3-4 years.
Who actually was it? Who actually did the remaster or the remaster for Last of Us Part 1?
Well,
who did that?
Ben Studio started it, and then Naughty Dog took over.
Naughty Dog took over. So part of me believes that a lot of this has to do with the fact that maybe Naughty Dog just didn't have they had to split off into teams, and they just had a really small team working on factions, and factions just hasn't been such of a priority. Especially, I mean, this also goes back to, like I said, with the whole pandemic thing. Who knows how far this game would have been on. People always talk about how it hasn't really affected Sony or these other publishers when it comes to game development and stuff, but maybe they just prioritize other things. Like they prioritize getting Last of Us Part 2 out. They prioritize getting Last of Us remastered, redone, and everything like that, or remake done. And now they're finally working on factions and stuff like that, So I am with Slow-Mo. The fact that they couldn't even show, you any type of gameplay for something that they've been talking, well, not even really talking about, but something that's been known for 2 to 3 years at this point. People knew this.
Well, I just looked up, it's been 2 years. It got delayed past June, didn't it? It didn't come out in June. I think it got delayed.
It got delayed,
a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, we're coming up on about 2 years. To me, if that game was in development before, when they kind of like hinted, like acting like it was in development during that time frame, we would have factions by now. I feel like it's literally been 2 years of development because they started that when Part 2 was done.
What do you think? I heard you say this on IOP.
I think they started a little bit earlier than that because there was that. Remember when they got leaked that factions wasn't going to be a part of The Last of Us Part 2, and then they were forced to come out and talk about it. there was people who had like, did the whole investigative thing, went on LinkedIn, found their job announcements and stuff. And then there were other information. I think Jason Schreier came out with that said like that's when they had split off to become a completely different project. And so like that's when they started hiring in and putting the announcements to try to get people with experience in working on multiplayer games to come in to help fill out the team that was going to be running that. But that had been about like 6 months before Last of Us Part 2 came out. Because I remember it was around the time of, what do they call it? The annual day for The Last of Us. I forgot what it's called. But it was around that time because people was like, man, I better hear something about this Last of Us Part 2 for this this day. And then that's when people were coming out with like, factions isn't going to be a part of it.
Right.
What'd you hear me say on ILP?
Not gonna say I heard you brought up a good point when you were looking at the concept art that they could actually probably do something when it comes to like a battle royale for that.
It looked like battle royale-ish. Like you saw people in like on the floor, on the ground floor. You saw people on the rooftop. Like it looked like a battle royale type of thing. Like I don't know if that's what they're doing, or maybe they're gonna do like some kind of hybrid, or maybe it's gonna be kind of
multiple modes. It could be like more than one mode, like the old school stuff, and then like some new kind of stuff too.
I think you're probably gonna see a preview version of it next year that runs, and then you'll see the full blown version of it comes out the year after.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. But before we move on, do you guys think it's going to be day and date on PC and PlayStation 5?
Yes, I believe it by then. Because right now we're probably 3 to 6 months between The Last of Us remake and between that and the PC version. I think by then they'll be doing day. Like maybe not with every game, but games that make sense. And I feel like that game, if anything, makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah. The live multiplayer games, day and date with PC, makes a lot of sense. You want to, especially early on, you want to try to give a game, a brand new game that needs a community to survive. You want to give it as many people as possible. So having it available on multiple platforms definitely does that. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. So really appreciate everybody stopping through. Make sure you hit the like button. Amazing show. We got 78 people up in the chat. Shout out to you guys. Blade X says Faction is going to be a PvP, PvE, PS5, PC game. Naughty Dog has doubled team size, which we already know, and that they're working on 3 different games.
A lot of Sony, here's the thing. Sony does understand that Microsoft buying studios is an issue for them, long term. But they don't have the money to compete on that kind of scale. So they're going to double down on the current studios they have now. So their best teams are making multiple games and not just one at a time. That's the only thing they can do unless they're going to buy more studios. And I think Sony isn't done buying studios, but Bungie, I felt probably took a lot of their, what's the word I'm looking for? Their studio money gone. I still think they got plenty of money, but people need to realize that they're not liquid like that. That deal was big for them. And we'll see. I don't think they're going to buy anything like publishing wise, but I do see them buying smaller studios like Remedy. Square Enix is different.
I think they might buy a publisher. I think we might by the end of the year see Sony may have acquired one publisher. Definitely nothing like of the size like an EA or like a.
You talking about Square Enix?
Or maybe Sega.
I don't think they're buying Sega.
Know. We'll see. I but something of that size, because you look at the size of those companies, those both of those publishers are smaller than what Microsoft spent to acquire.
Here's the thing: I don't see them investing into stuff they can get easily by second party stuff. I think that's one of the reasons they ain't already I feel like maybe Square Enix, because that's more about we'll never have to touch this thing again. You know what I'm saying? They get Square Enix, they'll have the Final Fantasies on lock, they'll have the other studios on lock. They won't ever have to really worry about, are we going to lose Final Fantasy this year? But we're gonna have to see the biggest thing that's going to determine is if Final Fantasy VII shows up coming on Xbox Sunday. Then I think that's
that's a part of my predictions. Forza, you gotta speed this up, man, because we gotta get to these predictions, man. I'm itching.
You itching? All right,
I'm itching to tell y'all about what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
Let's do speed runs, man. Last of Us 2 Part 1 remake. Did this really need to happen? No, but it happened anyway. Xbox will launch 5 new games during the financial year 2023. I guess, man. Start streaming Xbox games for your Samsung TV now. That's just how it is, man. Go buy a Samsung TV. Project Mooncraft brings created demos to Xbox Game Pass. That's cute. Okay, now we're on the prediction. No, I'm joking.
But the funny thing, that's exactly how the rest of these topics about to go.
But they're about to go super speed. Yeah, definitely. All right, so yeah, moving on to the Xbox will launch 5 new games during fiscal year 2020.
We already know what those games are. Avowed.
Already know.
But wait, hold on. Let me not say about Starfield, Redfall, Pentiment, Forza Motorsport, and Grounded's official release. There's your 5.
You think Grounded's official release is going to be one of the 5?
Yeah, because it's been in early access this entire time, and it's coming out early access this year. So there you go.
Attic.
To be honest with you, man, I don't care.
I don't care. You gotta care, Attic.
Well, why do I gotta care? Explain to me why I gotta care.
Oh man, I already missed the. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. Missed the best part of this show on the screen.
What was the best part? What exactly you want me to comment on?
I'm just saying the eye candy that was shown at the beginning of this Cuphead trailer.
I mean, well,
that's part of the show right there.
I assume we're still on the Last of Us talk, or did we?
No, we're talking about Xbox now.
I don't know what Forte is talking about. Like
it's just
like completely in a different dimension right now.
Mesmerized by something that
You're
happened.
in a different multiverse. You're on Earth like 611.
So are we talking about the 5 games?
Yes, the 5 games.
Yes.
Yeah, because you confused the hell out of me.
Listen, I literally had a brain fart because I was looking at Cuphead, and it just reminded me of what I saw at the beginning of it. But go ahead.
I mean, what, 5 games? And they said, I could see it.
Within the next fiscal year, so it's got to be between now and next June.
So basically,
5.
So basically,
I don't know. I think that might be a little bit. Who said that?
Jess Gordon, Windows Central.
Yeah.
So okay, so the biggest thing how this is breaking down is the fact that with the delay of Redfall and the delay of Starfield, a lot of people are wondering what the roadmap of Xbox is going to look like going forward because how they delayed games and stuff. But most people don't understand how the physical year for Microsoft works. It works from July to June. So all of these games that got delayed out of the physical year, out of 2022, are still part of their next year physical lineup when it comes to all of the games that they're releasing. So they still have the same amount of games that they have profiled to come out for the year 2023 when it comes to their physical year, but they're trying to get ahead and because the whole conversation that Xbox doesn't have anything for the next year. Yes, for the year 2022, as of right now, we don't know what's coming. We have thoughts on games like, Forza, but we don't know exactly until we get to the showcase and they start talking about it. So there was a interview with what was his name? Head of Xbox, not Phil Spencer, Matt Booty. Matt Booty came out and he was talking about how he was in the same article where he's talking about Call of Duty and not separating the player bases and stuff like that. Like the ecosystems will still stay intact, and they were rounding that all into the same conversation about how they still had a bunch of games, set for the physical year 2023. They're not going to separate players. They're going to keep ecosystems together.
Fiscal year is the word that you keep calling physical year.
I said physical. It's F-I. SCAL.
Fiscal is not physical.
Let's say fiscal.
Fiscal.
Okay, it's just a word, so I'm gonna calm down.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows what you're talking about.
Everybody knows that Forte got a lisp. He says stuff wrong all the time.
All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Part of the charm. But but that's the biggest conversation. So in the article, they basically talk about, titles that include Age of Empire 4, Flight Simulator, because this was going back to the conversation where people said Xbox doesn't had no games really released over the course of the last calendar year. But these are some of the games that they did have come out that they talked about. They had Age of Empire 4, they had Microsoft Flight Simulator, they had Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, and Forza 5. They're saying that they're still on track to have the same amount of games released this fiscal year. This year.
Fiscal.
Okay. Every time I want to say it, someone say it for me.
Okay.
Okay, cool. This year versus last year. So the thoughts is, do you think Xbox is finally going to get to the point where we are going to start getting that game every quarter? And when do you think that's going to start happening, since they're ramping up and saying that we're still going to be on track to release just as many games as we did 2 years ago when it comes to just releases for Xbox? Did I break it down easier for you, Attic?
Okay, what?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, stuff's going on in here. I thought you was talking to Slow-Mo.
Oh
No, that's all good.
That's okay.
You
go ahead,
I will summarize. Essentially, Jez Corden came out with an article, and it said that Xbox will have in the next fiscal year 5 games that they will launch, and I listed all 5 games that I think they are. And I guess Forte's asking you, what games do you think they are?
Oh, okay. I think that we're probably going to see. Let me think. Forza. That's one of them.
Right.
I think we'll I don't know. For some reason, I don't feel like Starfield's getting delayed like drastically. I think you'll see that like March sometime next year, around that time frame.
Yeah, they said both Starfield and Redfall will be early 2023. At least that's what they hope they are.
So
yeah,
that's 3. But the thing is, there's that game Vibe City and the one that Josh is making.
Pentiment.
Yeah. So we'll probably see that. I don't think Avowed's coming out by that. I don't think, because I think they're probably going to save Avowed for like the middle of next year.
I think it's gonna be
or you think middle of next year? I think it might be a holiday game if they think it's big enough.
No, I think their holiday game is going to be Hellblade. I think you'll see Avowed probably around E3ish time next year, maybe a month after. They'll probably do some, and maybe you even see it before E3 next year. I don't know. Like, this is the thing that we've been saying. Like, they got so many games. The issue is now, since you're starting to have some of these games finally finished, the issue isn't even if they have games. It's like, how can we possibly fit them in a 12-month cycle? And ideal is every 3 months, but because so many games have been delayed, can they do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these games might have to launch close to each other, especially if they're saying five games between now and next June.
Yeah. But I mean, like, but some of them are in so many like different like genres that I feel like if you did launch them close to each other, I don't think like one game would be hindered by another. It wouldn't be like a Titanfall 2 going up against Battlefield and Call of Duty kind of situation, because that game, being a first person shooter, was just so similar to those other games that it got ate up. But like, if you got Pentiment close to like Forza Motorsport, like, the people who play Forza, I don't think are going to play Pentiment and vice versa.
The only ones that they can't have close is Starfield and Avowed, because they're a little bit closer in the same spectrum than anything else. So I would say, maybe Maddie over there, right? Maybe Avowed launches this holiday.
That's what I'm thinking, because you got to think Starfield, I think, is definitely coming out in the first half, because if that game falls, that game's not going to fall out of the projected year for 2023. If it comes out past June, that's gonna put it out inside of that. And then you got to think. I do like your thoughts on Hellblade being something that comes during the holidays, but part of me believes, first of all, that game ain't ready. Second of all, for some reason they always show it at the Video Game Awards, and it seems like I think that's what they're going to show.
I think you're
going
to see release date in the Video Game Awards.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking you may see it at the showcase, but you won't get a release date. But for some reason, Hellblade has been heavily tied to everything, huge announcements to the Video Game Awards, and I think that's where you're going to get the release date for it. And I think that possibly could be the holiday game. Now, Avowed, on the other hand, could that be the September game? And it really just depends on when they decide.
No, I'm talking about Avowed coming out this year.
Oh, you talking about this year? No, I don't know.
Because that's what Maddie thinks. He thinks that because here's the thing. I know people in the industry that's seen it. The game is very, like, I wouldn't say detailed or anything like that, but the way they've described it, especially Jazz, like the game feels done when he was looking at it. Like it was very,
it's far along,
very
in the
polished. It's just like, look, at the end of the day, we don't know why things were done this way or why things were done that way. Like for all we know, they were going to show Avowed last year, but they pushed it because of Starfield because they know they couldn't have them both in the same around the same time. So for all, like, to me, I know this might sound bad. I feel like Xbox and Bethesda would prefer to launch a buggy Starfield in this holiday than not launch anything at all.
Or a buggy
I feel
Avowed, you mean?
No, a buggy Starfield. Like I feel like if they had nothing for this holiday, they would have and I think the game might have a little bit more bugs than they're willing to do it, and that's why it got pushed back a little bit. But I feel like Avowed might be at a state where it was done, but they pushed it because of Starfield. So if Avowed was done, they can just put it back where they originally anticipated before they bought Bethesda.
Okay. You thought
because I feel like they looked at both of those games because they will be finishing around the same time. It said Starfield's going to be a bigger call,
a bigger hit.
And now since it's got delayed, maybe they're being more willing to bring Avowed back to where it was. Because if you guys remember, like it was rumored for a long time, Avowed was coming at end of 2022, beginning of 2023 for a long time.
Right.
I mean, look, I think it's definitely a possibility. I think if it is coming out this year, that's
like
something that we're going to definitely know.
70.
I think it's something we definitely will know Sunday because if it's coming Sunday, out this year, it's going to be a big gameplay trailer or reveal, and it's going to be saying release date. It's October, November, or whatever of 2022. So I mean, it's.
No, I would say that would go ahead. I would say that would be huge if they actually pulled that off.
Yeah.
If they actually pulled that off, that would be huge.
30-70, man. That's why I'll give it 30-70. But we get into the prediction stuff, so let's keep going. Like,
yeah, let's Forte needs to speed this up, man.
No, listen, y'all keep talking. I'm just letting y'all go. Y'all want me to shut y'all down?
You're the host, man.
Okay,
I would say tell us when we moving on to the.
All right, I would say shut up.
You ain't gotta be rude about it, host. You just gotta be like, hey, moving on to the next topic.
All right. So Samsung TVs going to have the ability to be able to just not any Samsung TV. You're gonna have to buy a new one because it's not gonna have the capability built into it unless they do software or hardware or firmware updates to allow this to actually be a thing, which we know is actually a possibility.
I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. Well, I don't think a firmware update is going to be able to do it.
Well, we know that they've been able to do firmware updates for like streaming services and stuff in the past. Now, if they didn't do this a while ago, because you got to think this partnership has been something that's been been something for a while now. Hopefully they.
That's it. Remember when people were talking about the dongle? You know, the dongle they got, Xbox dongle.
The dongle that they actually had to redo again.
I hate to interrupt you guys. Did you see Jeff Keighley not pull it up, but some dude apparently said that the Summer Game Fest would have God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring DLC, and it would release date for God of War Ragnarok. After the show, he commented on it and said, "Better luck on the next one."
Oh man,
that's pretty funny.
But we already know God of War's not coming out this year, so
I think stop it. It's coming out this year anyway. That dongle I heard that dongle was supposed to be something that you weren't supposed to just like, oh, I could just connect this to USB to my TV, but it's internal. So if that's like hardware that's internal inside of these Samsung TVs, then a firmware update probably isn't going to be enough to get like, say, last year's Samsung to have, allow you to stream xCloud. You see what I mean?
No, I mean I'm with that. I'm just hoping. Part of me just hopes that they actually had forward thoughts on actually getting some of this tech built in some of these TVs already to be able to do something like that. But you're more than likely you're right on the side that you're thinking of when it comes to that, and you're gonna have to go out and buy a brand new QLED if you want this to happen, or maybe probably not a QLED, but a Nano or something.
I think it's a feature of the market with new Samsung TVs. Like Samsung's going to be out here marketing, hey, look, all in this TV, you can play Halo and Gears and Forza and Halo Gears and Forza. You'll play all that like all through this TV without having an Xbox, and maybe you're just like. Maybe they'll throw in the Xbox Series controller when you buy one. I mean, you're spending like $1,500 on a TV, so why not, right? I don't know, like something like that. But as far as like a 2019 TV doing it or a 2020 TV, I don't think that's going to happen.
So do you think we're gonna? That's another thing too. So we talked about the streaming stick that they went back to the drawing board on to basically reiterate on again. Do we think that do you think this will be a selling factor for somebody buying a brand new TV in 2022 during Black Friday or something like that? Do you think the Xbox logo being on the TV will be a deciding factor for some people deciding on what TVs they pick this holiday?
Yes.
Why?
Depends on
like
Go ahead.
it's just going to be one of those things that it just depends how Microsoft promotes it with Samsung. Like if they just let Samsung rock with it and not really try to like help them market it, then that's one thing. I don't think it'll really do nothing. But if they start connecting Game Pass with the Samsung TVs, and it depends on what is supported on there and how well it's done. If they're able to get like Fortnite or something on there too, along with Game Pass, then because you're going to get people in there with Fortnite, and then they'll subscribe to Game Pass later. It just depends on the specter on how they actually promote the TV. If they promote it as we could do all this and you could play games too, or they really promote the gaming portion and you could watch TV, then I think that would do a little bit more. I just don't know how they're going to do it.
I think it depends on how good these TVs are that Samsung is pulling out this year. Like and how
expensive
if I was right, that too, right? Because like if I am in the market for a TV this year, it's cool that you have Xbox integrated into this TV. I don't think that's me being a gamer that I care less for cloud than I do for like actual like having the hardware right in my face. But I'm probably gonna care more about like the performance of the TV. Do I have ghosting? Is this a bad panel? Is it like what are the reviews saying about this TV and this performance itself? Like, is it really 120 hertz, or is it that fake 120 hertz they try to pass off? Like I care more about those things than okay, this one has Xbox integration, but this one doesn't. Like that's more of like if I'm looking at two TVs and they're very very closely like performed closely together. And it's like it's a toss up which one I get. This one has Xbox integration and that one doesn't. Okay, then I'll get this one. At that point, that's like it's like a tipping thing, a icing on the cake kind of thing. If it's a 60 hertz TV, I'm not getting it. I don't care what it got in there. I don't care if it got Xbox integration, PlayStation integration, Epic Game Store integration, Steam integration. The 60 hertz TV, it can stay right over there. I don't want it. So it's just like it's really. I think the quality of the TV is really going to matter.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too. There's going to be inherently people that's going to go out and pick up TVs like this, especially if they do a good job in marketing it. But I do think it's going to be very niche, especially because streaming still isn't one of the most viable things out there. A lot of people still can't do it consistently, even knowing it will be situated closer to your network when it comes to being in your own home. Anybody that does do this, it does pick up one of these TVs. I suggest that you run an Ethernet cable from where you are and hook it directly up to your TV, so you don't have to really worry about the latency of your internet connection through Wi-Fi. That would make it a little bit more stabler for you too. But in general, I think it's a good idea. It's something that we thought they would do a long time ago, and it finally looks like they're finally going to start doing that. But moving on to the next topic, we got the Project Warcraft bringing curated demos to the Xbox Game Pass ecosystem.
Before
I
you
know
do
we got the
that,
super chat. Go ahead, you
all
can
right,
read it.
I'll take care of it. Shout out to Rob the Don 202 with the $5 super chat. It says, "What's up, guys? Just got in. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the Above Average Fest, and hopefully, Xbox delivers these 5 games so that narrative can stop." I agree. I hope they can deliver those 5 games. More than that, I hope those 5 games are really good, because that would definitely kill a narrative. If
I
those
hope
games are fire, then
Sorry
then there's
about
nothing to talk about.
No, you're good, bro.
my headset died.
You're good, bro.
One of the biggest reasons I want to see them deliver these games, man, is I just want to see how the goalpost is going to be moved.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah, I
wanna see
definitely
how
want to
that's
see that too. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry to see that happen because the goalpost will move. It will be a different scenario. It will be not that Xbox has no games. It's going to be that Xbox don't have good games because they still can't score 90 or above in Metacritic. But
Now, why is it they're getting 90 and above? Then we really got to see.
Then we really got to
Oh
see.
man,
It's really going to be crazy out here then. But go ahead. Okay, shout out to you, Round and I really appreciate the super chat too. By the way, did you say you wanted to say something else before we moved on to something else, Slomo? Or you just
no,
wanted to get
we're
the super
good.
chat?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, just moving on to the next last topic, we got the Project Warcraft. They are bringing demos to the Xbox Game Pass ecosystem. People were really, really celebrating the fact that PlayStation was getting demos. And I was like, and I still feel the same way about Xbox. I feel like now I didn't read the whole article and see maybe it's not stated in there. I don't. Is this only tied to? Go ahead.
There were people saying you shouldn't have to pay for demos.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't have
Okay.
to. And that's what I'm saying. So
let's
what part?
continue on.
No. So what? That's why I said I didn't read when I read the article, I didn't see it. So is this tied to the very top end of Game Pass or just Game Pass in general?
It wouldn't matter because you got to pay for Game Pass. So regardless if it's top end or not, it's in Game Pass.
It's in Game Pass.
So it's demos in Game Pass.
Was this confirmed that it is going to be put into a Game Pass scenario, or was they just assumed it was going to be?
Let me double check it. I'm trying to find the. Before I say, do you remember the article or the whatever? Okay.
Yeah, I have it right here. Let me pull it.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, look, I didn't back in the day when they had demos. I didn't even really mess the demos anyway. I think it's okay to pay a subscription service that offers demos as long as it's like how EA Access does, where you have a certain amount of the game, and then after that, you can determine whether or not you want to buy it. I just don't want. Remember back in the day when they had like the best parts of the game demos? I don't want that.
Yeah, actually, this is confirmed on Xbox's website. So, yeah, they along with announcing the Xbox app and cloud gaming via Xbox Game Pass Ultimate would be coming to 2022 Samsung Smart TV. So there it is, says 2022. Microsoft revealed Project Warcraft. It is a program that will feature new curated demos of upcoming titles for Xbox Game Pass subscribers, rolling out within the next year. It will focus on providing independent developers from around the world more opportunities to build exciting excitement for their games. Developers who participate can see the performance of their demos and also receive compensation through Microsoft, but they didn't outline what this will entail. It will also allow for them to reach new audiences if the performance of Xbox Game Pass for various smaller titles has been indicated when they increase exposure and may be good for indie developers. So yeah, they're basically saying that this is something that's going to roll out within the next year across Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and you will be able to, and developers will get compensation off of those demos. Now, it's not as straightforward as how it is with PlayStation, where they say all games over $35 and developers have to make demos and stuff.
But those really aren't demos. Those are time trials on PlayStation.
Yeah, those are time trials. These are
there's no work that's being done. Demos like for example, Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise had a demo that was specifically made, and it was like it had basically it was an area in the middle of the game. You had to play like a good 30 hours before you even reach that point, that area, and then they created a quest for you to do. A couple of quests actually, I think, for you to do that. I don't even think those quests were even like really in the game. At least I don't recall doing them. But that was like, that's a demo. A time trial is just like, hey, look, the game starts, your clock starts. You got 2 hours.
Right.
If you know, and it's really like the developer doesn't have to do, or the publisher doesn't have to do. They don't have to like take a section of the developers and say, hey, work on this or anything. It's something all done within the PlayStation Store, gives you access to the game. Once your 2 hours is up, look, hey, if you enjoyed it, buy it. If you didn't, move on. Which I do kind of feel like on the other side, from the developer/publisher side of things, I think these devs and publishers absolutely count on people being interested in a game that they may not actually like. And they count on the fact that you buy a game and then realize, but that I don't even like this, or this the game doesn't like. I'm not feeling this. I'm gonna take it back. But they still got your sale. It's the retailer that got to take that game back.
Right.
I think there are definitely devs and publishers out here who are just like, I don't want that time trial because I don't get nothing out of that. And then people could get some of those sales that would have been like, oh, wait, wow, I'm glad I did this time trial because this game is doo-doo. I don't want to play it. But of course, that's great for us. But I can see devs and publishers being like, I'm not really down with that. So at least with the way Xbox is doing this, it seems like devs are getting compensated for doing it. Now, on the flip side of it, as for us gamers, if you don't have Game Pass, it's like, well, it's a demo. Like, I would like to play a demo of a game before I play the game. Well, I gotta spend money to subscribe to a service to check out a demo of a game that I may or may not want. So it's like there's different levels to it, I guess. But all no one subs to any of these services for time trials or demos. This is like extra, extra stuff that you may get that it's cool to have in the service if you have it. But otherwise, like, no one's subbing for either of these services for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still don't like the fact that it's part of a service where you have to pay for something to get something that inherently you got for free on other platforms. But I mean, everything's about monetization at this point. You have companies out here putting more money and stuff into that. Shout out to Andrew Wilkins with the $5 super chat. He says, no God of War isn't delayed. Even if it was, Sony still has the best year. No racers come close to GT in quality and sales. Horizon Forbidden West is best looking game out. Shout out to you, bro. Listen, God of War, I will tell you the same thing I told Slow Mo. Every day that goes by that game isn't announced for a release date, I continue to win. Now I might lose.
You're not winning anything.
Listen, as long as Slow Mo. Listen. As long as that game does not have a release date. It's not a
race.
No,
it's not a race.
It doesn't have to be a race.
Listen, running faster than me because no one's announced anything.
Slow Mo, let me have my moment, Slow Mo. Let me have my moment. It's okay. I understand. We know where you stand on this. I'm just saying, let me have my moment. Whenever they release, trust me, I will be the first one to fall flat on my face when they announce a date for the God of War in this 2022. That's going to happen. I'm going to bend the knee to you and everybody else in the gaming community because that's the square I'm standing on. But ultimately, until that moment happens, and every day that passes, your boy is winning. That's all that matters. Your boy is winning. And let's be for real. GT, sir. Listen, Forza Horizon is amazing, bro. Amazing. And we're not gonna try to second guess and put two games against each other that it doesn't even really compare at that point. And then Horizon's a good looking game. Nobody can take that game, nothing away from that game, but sooner or later something will come out that looks better than it. Hopefully Xbox can accomplish that, but as of right now, you're absolutely right. Horizon is a standout game, and it's some of the best looking graphics out there, and we'll get there. And shout out to Erodimus with the $5 super chat. You got to support the devs, Forte. Yeah, man, I support the devs. I definitely support the devs by giving them a platform for me to buy, giving them a platform to allow myself to give them money whenever I buy their games and stuff. So they definitely get money from me all the time.
Forte,
Yes.
let's get to this last topic, bro.
Go ahead, start it.
So, Xbox Bethesda showcase predictions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to know.
I'm
scared to know what your prediction is about this, by the way.
Why are you scared?
Because it's going to probably be
Why are you
something.
scared?
It's going to be something outlandish.
No, it's not. Look,
You about
why
to
are you
shoot for the-
scared
you about to
to
shoot for the-
know the future? Why are you scared to know the future? Okay.
Because it's the future. Sometimes the future is scary.
I got 10 actually.
10?
So I don't want to say
God dang.
I don't want to say them all right now, and I don't want to take up too much of the time. So I'll
Go ahead.
Addict, if you have a prediction, I would like you to say your prediction first, and then I'll add some
He wants
in.
to
And
steal
then,
your prediction, Addict.
I had them written down. Like I would screenshot this if I look. just go ahead. Just go ahead.
A prediction. I think that Rand put this into existence, and I'm gonna stand by Rand. I think Final Fantasy VII about to get announced for Xbox at this show.
Interesting you say that. Number 6 on my list is Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox, but not in Game Pass. Because I think Rand said it would be in Game Pass, and that's one thing I think it's not going to be in Game Pass, but it will be on Xbox.
You know what's funny, Forte?
Yo.
Slow-mo done copied everyone's predictions, but slightly changed
But
it.
did a slightly
this is not. Look, I'm telling you.
On their prediction. Yes.
I'm telling you, there is stuff on this list you've never heard before.
That's why you should have went first.
All right, look, I'll just go down the list. All right, I'm going down the list. Okay, here we go. Now, the first stuff is clearly things you've heard before, things that are definitely going to happen because it's obvious. Like a Valve gameplay, that's obvious. Starfield gameplay, obvious. Redfall gameplay, obvious. This is not obvious. There's going to be an Xbox Elite version 2 controller design labs.
Oh Lord! If they did
you get to design your own controller. That's Elite controller, and it's going to be like $250 or something like that. It's going to be ridiculous, and the cost is going to be crazy, but people are going to do it.
And I will buy one.
I see. There we go. So this is why they're going to do it, because people are going to buy one.
That.
Yeah, they should have, honestly. Number 5 is IO Interactive's Game with Dragons or something like that. Whatever it is,
Project Fantasy finally, or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's finally going to get announced. I think that was one of my predictions for you guys too on the ILP when you guys did your show. I did number 6 already. Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox, but not in Game Pass. Number 7, no Forza Motorsport for 2022. Yeah, it's not coming out this year.
Bull. When is that game going to ever come out?
Who knows? But it ain't coming out this year. I'm telling you, it's not coming out this year. They're gonna show it, and they're gonna be like 2023. It's just gonna say 2023. It's gonna be no date. It's just gonna say the year. There's gonna be a Game Pass family plan.
Yep.
It's gonna be like you sign up for Game Pass, and then everyone under you gets Well, that they already do that. It's gonna be something else. Like you're gonna add people, and look, it's a thing. I don't know what it is in detail, but it's a thing, right? And then number 9, here we go. Right, number 9.
Mm-hmm.
They're making a Daredevil game,
Oh.
and it's going to be announced that it's being developed by Ninja Theory.
That's very specific. That's very specific.
Okay, all right. And then number 10, last one. It's going to be an acquisition. They have acquired the Sobo, which is the reason why Plague Tale 2 is in day and date in Game Pass. And they got this long contract thing going on with Asobo doing Microsoft Flight Simulator. So those are my predictions.
You know what it sounded like when he said his predictions, Forte?
What did it sound like?
It sounded like some PlayStation insiders gave him a list of stuff to say on the show.
You know, that might have been right. You know, look, I will freely admit some of that stuff is pie in the sky. If it turns out right, I'm going to be bragging all across my Twitter timeline for like a week, kind of stuff. But you know, like I think some of the like half of it's going to happen. Guaranteed.
Sertaz said Daredevil. Where'd that come from?
I don't know, man.
The PlayStation insider.
I just want to see a Daredevil game. And then I thought about like who of their studios can do a Daredevil game. I think Ninja Theory probably could do a really good job of a Daredevil game. So there you have it. Daredevil, Ninja Theory. If it turns out that happens, or as somewhere in the future that happens, remember here, I said it first. Me, slow-mo, backslap. Me. Yeah. But that's all I got. That's all my prediction.
Specific. It's so easy to be wrong.
That's very very specific about what he said. I was like,
How much you want to bet if Ninja Theory announces a comic book hero game, he's going to try to take credit for that. I was half right.
Hey, look, if Ninja Theory is doing, yes, I will absolutely. Just because I got the hero wrong doesn't mean anything. It's the developer in a specific genre of game. That's 2 out of 3.
Sertaz says Black Myth Waku Black Myth Wukong will be
Wukong
Black Myth. I didn't know what the name of that. I thought it was the other way. I was about to say something to him about it, but yeah, he said that's going to be Xbox exclusive, PC exclusive.
Game Science is the developer. It's a Chinese developer. A lot of Chinese developers seem to have a lot of good relationships with Epic and Sony. I don't know about that one. Although Bright Memory Infinite is made by a Chinese developer, and that one has leaned towards Xbox. So there's a possibility. I guess there's a chance for that. But I'm a little. I think that one's probably going to be a multiplayer
True
everywhere.
Serum says Jim gonna be mad as hell. What do you think, Addict? So, all right, you already gave some of them. What do you got? Anything else you want to add to it?
I'm actually starting to believe this Avowed might come out this year. But I do think that we're going to see a good segment towards Japanese games where like Persona's announced, Final Fantasy's announced.
Persona?
And they're all coming to Game Pass.
Okay, yes, I was acting crazy with Daredevil here. Come on.
So Daredevil isn't crazy, but Persona.
No, Daredevil is absolutely crazy, but Persona is even crazier because that game is like a mainline Persona. I think has only been on PlayStation. I believe none of them have been on any other platforms. Even with like they even except for PC. Persona 4 Golden hit PC, but like to get that on Xbox,
Times have changed.
So. I can see it hitting a Nintendo Switch before it hits the Xbox.
I see it
because the Switch has got. Who's that?
Being on that stage.
You
You
said
see what being on that?
Persona.
We'll see. I'm gonna say that is a super long shot. That's a Hail Mary with 2 seconds left on the clock. I don't know about that one.
Oh, a Hail Mary, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, you guys said a lot of good things. Like, I do think the Avowed thing is really interesting. It's always interesting me to see what they would do to fill that void, and if you could fill it with another RPG, that could get. And that was like one of the other games that was at that original showcase that really got people excited. I think it wouldn't. I think it would actually kind of do wonders for them when it comes to this holiday. If they could actually do something like that. I don't know if that's going to actually be the thing, for the simple fact that we haven't seen anything. It would basically take the place of what Bethesda usually does in their mantra of showing a game 5 to 6 months out and releasing it. You know, that would be kind of the situation that Obsidian would be in. And I think a lot of people would be interested to actually see that happen. So I just don't know if it would.
Obsidian playing it on stage and say, you know what? It just works.
It just works. Hey, whatever. Hey, listen, man. We always said, like, I remember Somo said that Obsidian is probably one of their best studios outside of Playground Games and stuff. So if anybody could pull something like this off, and they actually been working on it for over 3 to 4 years, then it's definitely a possibility. That would be a shock to the system if they could get it out. I still sit on the mantle that I think Game Pass is still going to be a huge. Well, we all know Game Pass is going to be a huge part of it, but I think the biggest thing that they're going to do outside of just talking about, you know, games that are going to be releasing, like showing Starfield and stuff like that, I do think Game Pass is going to get a huge infusion from ABK. I do think that those games, some of those games that are no longer part of marketing deals and stuff like that, when it comes to like Call of Duty, where they can actually get those games and put it to Game Pass as quick as possible.
But you think those games are coming now, even though the deal's not done yet?
Because I think those games can come now. They're not tied to any deal or anything. They can negotiate a deal to get those games inside of the service now if they wanted to. Instead of waiting till the actual deal is finalized. But they also already said that the deal is accelerated. They still say that they're looking at the end of the year for that deal to take place, but they can easily announce that, you know, coming this holiday, maybe not the whole slate, but you got to remember how many Fallout 3 and stuff hit Game Pass before Bethesda was a part of Xbox.
Dishonored was took off Game Pass, and after that deal was announced, they put it back on.
They put it back on. So yeah, so games can
and
come
so was
and go.
Doom Eternal.
Yeah, Doom Eternal did too. They took it on, they took it off, and then when it launched into game, when they finally got the acquisition to go through, they put those games back into the service. So I'm not saying that all the games will come, because it will be like a case by case basis, but I do think we're going to get something from the Activision Blizzard lineup put into Game Pass sometime this year.
I think you're going to see Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
get announced to go on. Yeah, I'm going to say that actually for the show. They're going to announce Overwatch and old Call of Duty's going on Game Pass.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're going to get all the old Call of Duty.
That's not bad.
I'm thinking everything up until because Vanguard
Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls.
Oh yeah, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls finally going there too. But I think everything Call of Duty wise up into what would it be, Cold War, because the Vanguard is still technically under marketing rights from Sony because it's still under that same year. But I think everything before that will be inside that service. And they will announce that as one of their infusions for Game Pass that would get people excited for, you know, just the prospect of what they can do once they do get the acquisition to go through, and they can put those games natively inside of Game Pass day and date when they release. I think that would be kind of like one of their mic drop moments outside of whatever they're going to show at the end of the show, which I will ask you guys. I think Avowed is going to be at the end of the show. What do you guys think?
End of the show?
End of the show.
I think they're going to end the show with, it's either going to be Avowed or something else we haven't seen before. something else that we don't even know about, like Redfall, like last year. Last year, Redfall ended the show. We didn't even although we heard rumors about what the game was, we didn't really no one had ever really seen it before. So I think it would be Avowed or something like that.
The only way I see Avowed being at the end is if Avowed comes out this year.
Okay. So what do
If they
you?
end that, I think if it comes out this year, they're gonna end that. One more thing is gonna be Avowed, and at the end of that trailer, it's gonna have the release date, and it's gonna be scheduled for this holiday.
Okay. What is a chance? Okay, so a couple people in the chat I see. Origin, he's saying that it's going to be something that's unannounced. Do we think that we're going to get? Do we think it's a better chance to get something that's unannounced or something that's already been announced that we just haven't seen gameplay yet? That's going to be at the end of the show.
The ending of a show, I know a lot of people think it's reserved for like unannounced titles. It's reserved for shock value.
Right.
And I don't see anything beating shock value. What beats Avowed coming out this year?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Now,
If it's coming out
this year.
Yeah, if it's coming out this year, I don't see.
If it's not coming out this year, it's
then
going to be like it could be
Indiana Jones or Compulsion or something.
Yeah,
like
Compulsion's game.
Yeah, that's what that guy Sweetie just said. Indiana Jones, Compulsion ends the show. Big Memo. Shout out to you, Mo, for coming through too. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways they can go, ending of the show, but we all know that the pacing of the show starts at the beginning. What do you guys think opens the show?
Starfield.
Oh, Starfield. Definitely Starfield.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Is it
Starfield.
that
The
or
one
Redfall?
thing. Yeah, or Redfall. It's the one
It's
thing.
going to be
but
one of the
probably-
delayed games.
Yeah, it's probably more so Starfield because that's the one that's more popular that people want to see more than Redfall. They opened the show last year with Starfield. I think they're going to open it with gameplay. They're going to have Todd Howard come out and discuss some things, talk about game mechanics, show us a couple of things, like basically the things that they normally would do with like their releases, but probably not as in detail as they would normally do in like back in the day with their own Bethesda shows, where they had actually just like they don't really have to share the stage with Xbox back then. They could just be like, hey, look, here's our Bethesda showcase. It's going to be 5 minutes about our other games. The next is 25 minutes. It's about Fallout 4 or whatever, right? So like they probably wouldn't have it be that in detail, but I think they're going to show us a lot of it, and that's going to be the first thing that they do.
You know, it'd be crazy if they do end it with Fallout New Vegas too.
Who makes it? I mean, they have the studio that made the original.
Obsidian is making it. Obsidian is making it. They already said that.
I think it would be a collab between Obsidian and Bethesda Software, since they're both owned by the same company. It would be co-developed game.
Yeah.
Both studios have certain teams that's going. Like, I personally feel like they need to start doing that. I think that it would be good if, obviously I've said it multiple times. You got a lot of people working for these studios that have potential but never get the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And I think you start picking people with ambition. You don't pick a lot of people from both teams, maybe 30 from each team, have them start co-developing games that make sense. Fallout New Vegas makes sense. Rare doesn't want to make Banjo-Kazooie. Have them team up with a studio of someone at Rare that can lead these people that isn't vital to the project they're working on, but he's got talent and he deserves a shot at working on his own game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
No, I definitely feel that. Shout out to Rob the Don with the $2 super chat. He says Indiana Jones or Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct is the one more thing. And speaking of Killer Instinct, there's been a lot of
Killer Instinct. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, look, you guys are gonna love that, but I'm gonna hate that, because I'm selfish. I want what I want.
Well, you want Fable to show up on the screen, and we know that's not gonna happen.
No, I think if they ended with Killer Instinct, I would be like upset.
Mortal
But
Kombat
They're not
versus-
ending it with
yeah.
Killer Instinct. Nah, not
That would
Killer
be-
Instinct is not
That would be the thing
Look,
before the
it's-
last thing.
for fighting game fans, especially Xbox fans that are fighting game fans. They would probably love to see that, but I think
Oh.
everyone else would be like, "You really ended it with Killer Instinct."
It all depends.
You know, I
it
think-
all depends. Is them ending it also tied to the fact that they purchased and found a way to purchase NetherRealm as part of the announcement, and that they're making a Killer Instinct game with NetherRealm?
Okay, that might make it
would that
better,
make it
but
better?
I still don't think, I don't think you end the show with that. I still
no,
don't
they
think you end
bought
the show with
NetherRealm.
that.
That is definitely an ending show worthy.
Yeah, if they purchase NetherRealm, I don't care what game
how
they put
about-
on the screen.
How about this, Forte? How about this?
But well, hold on. When they acquired 5 studios, one of which was shocked the world with Ninja Theory. That wasn't the end of the show. That was in the middle of the show
What was
in
the end of the show
2018.
that
hold
year?
on, hold on. I got a scenario for you guys. I got a scenario
Go
for
ahead.
you guys.
Cyberpunk?
In like the
Cyberpunk
middle,
yeah.
in like the middle of the show,
Mhm.
they showed Mortal Kombat 12.
Which is in
And then the end of
development.
the show, Phil Spencer comes out and says, "We got one more thing for you," and then it's Killer Instinct, and then it pans out, and what's his name's back up there with Phil, and he says, "And we bought NetherRealm, and Mortal Kombat's going to be exclusive, and Killer Instinct's coming back."
You said that's in the middle of the show?
No, they show Mortal Kombat in the middle of the show.
Oh, but then they
End of
ended
the
with
show,
that.
They show Killer Instinct, and then he comes out and says that Mortal Kombat. They don't say Mortal Kombat's an exclusive.
They just show
They
it as
tell
a
you-
trailer.
When they show Killer Instinct, we bought NetherRealm, and we own, and Mortal Kombat is also going to be an exclusive with Killer Instinct.
Mortal Kombat's not big. Now we're in crazy land.
So you honestly think if they bought NetherRealm, Mortal Kombat's a multiplayer?
Yes, absolutely.
No, I don't.
I don't
No,
think
ain't
so.
no way. Yeah, that's exclusive. Ain't no way.
I think that would stay multiplat. I think it would. I think
Why-
Mortal Kombat would stay multiplat, but they absolutely would have NetherRealm, like a team of NetherRealm, work on creating, bringing back Killer Instinct, and that will remain exclusive. I think that will work.
What happens
I think they'll
if-
do that.
they end the show with a Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct?
That would be even better. That's crazy. And make that exclusive. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and
KI
I do
versus
think-
MK.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I'm thinking. That's why I was saying if they do, like, I don't think Killer Instinct by itself can be the end of the show. But if you tie it to an acquisition like NetherRealm and say that they say that we're coming out with a Killer Instinct versus Mortal Kombat or MK versus KI, I think that could easily end the show
Oh,
because that would send a shockwave not only to the fact that you're bringing back Killer Instinct, but that will also start the conversation, like you just said, Slow Mo. What happens with Mortal Kombat? You say it's going to still be multiplat, but we already see what the conversation around Call of Duty was. We saw what it was for Starfield. That's just another 6 to 7 month buzz of what they're going to do with another developer that makes a game that people love. And that would be an amazing way to end the show.
Once they open it with Killer Instinct,
And close it with Mortal Kombat?
no, they don't close up Mortal. I'm just saying
you
that
just- I know what
I
you're
don't think Killer Instinct's worthy of an ending show because, like,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, you can open with Killer Instinct, and I think people would get lit. Like, I do think you
Yeah,
can open.
I agree
with
with that. Yeah. You could open with that because that would be
Now, what
a
happens?
surprise and
Yo,
in a way
so-
to kind of set the tone for the show. Yeah, I can see that.
What happens if they opened up with Killer Instinct and then they announced they bought? So it's like they open with Killer Instinct, announce they bought NetherRealm, and then show a trailer for Mortal Kombat 12.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah,
That would be pretty
that would-
cool.
And then Phil Spencer comes out and says, "Now I've done it. Shut up."
How if he comes out with when he comes out with a KI shirt on?
Yeah, he says, "Okay, now you guys got you guys got 2 games of the fighting market in the Xbox brand. Leave me alone. No more adding it, Phil.
No
at
more
any
out of here,
Leave
Phil.
me alone.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Well, guys, this was a really great show. It's gonna be. I'm really looking forward to what the Xbox show is gonna be about and what we're gonna see there. I mean, I always tell people don't temper your expectations. I haven't seen anybody like, and that's the funny thing. I haven't seen Aaron Greenberg come out and say, hey, talking about tempering expectations or trying to set the stage on what's going to be there, what's not going to be there. It seems like they've basically just been letting all of the speculation ride. And I actually like that because it kind of gives me a little bit of faith that they believe in the show that they're going to put on and that they think we're going to be excited for that. And honestly, that's their job. Their job is to make us excited to play the games that they are releasing. And you shouldn't temper your expectations to even think you should be disappointed. Now, if they disappoint you, that's their fault. That's not your fault. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to showcase at this show. It's going to basically set up at least the next 12 months of Xbox. But for some people, this is going to be the selling point for Xbox Series S and X for the next generation. This is like a really good point for them to kind of right the ship when it comes to the different conversations they've been having with people. But with that being said, Gaming Addict, really appreciate you coming through, bro. Really appreciate you stopping by. You're always welcome in the house, man. We always love what you guys do over there on IOP. Love what you do with the Addict Show every week. Please tell us where they can find you and everything you got going on with IOP and your channel.
You can find me on Twitter at Lord Addict IOP. I will be releasing a video tomorrow on my expectations to how I want a VOW to be shown at the event, and then I'll be releasing one on Starfield Saturday. So hopefully, I intended to release it Monday and then another video Tuesday, but sometimes shit happens, so it's okay. We're going with with Friday and Saturday. But I appreciate everyone coming through, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. Don't just pop up in here, but hit that subscribe button. It's right there. It's below the save in the clip feature. If you're on a phone, I don't know where it's at because I don't have my phone up. But hit that subscribe button. There's a little like button too. Like hit that too. It's down there below the prediction text. There's a little. There you go.
Oh my god.
All right.
So good. Yeah, really, really appreciate you. And shout out to you and shout out to your co-host, Hustle and Motivate. Haven't seen him here today, but he's super busy and he's always out supporting the community. So make sure you check those guys out. Slomonius Backslap. You have a nice little drive ahead of you tomorrow, and I can't wait to get you back into the community when it comes right, exactly. I know how you feel, and you're like, man, I really don't want to do this, but I know you're ready to bring yourself back home. But please let everybody know what you got going on your channel, what you got going on in general, and where they can find you.
First off, Addict, thank you for joining us tonight. I love the energy you bring, a different dynamic for us to have in the conversation. So, definitely a great show. Glad to have you here. But me not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. It depends. It depends on how I feel tomorrow. But at some point, it's probably gonna be Saturday. But at some point, I'm going to stream The Quarry because it's coming out tomorrow. But if I'm driving back home, I'm probably not gonna do it tomorrow. So I'll probably do it Saturday. So look out for that. I'll be streaming my first playthrough of that. And then unless something comes up, I definitely will be doing the live reaction to the Xbox Showcase on Sunday as well. So look out for those. And I'm still working on my Game Engines video. So just it's still in the works. I like to take my time with this stuff. So it'll come out eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure you check out Slow-Mo on Sunday because he will be the one that's going to be streaming the Xbox Bethesda showcase. I will be joining him as soon as I get home from work because I don't get off work until 1:00 that day because of work situations. So he's going to be streaming it. We're going to be reacting to the whole show. We'll give our opinions and stuff after the show. So definitely don't miss that out. But we're not going to be the only ones doing it. Just check out your favorite place to do it at. That's always welcome. And just make sure you come through and check us out to see exactly what we thought about it. But outside of that, Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube. Go ahead.
Before he ends this, I just want to acknowledge Hustle. I am so sorry. Forte called you
I said
Hustle and Motivate.
I did
No,
not
you
say
do not
most
say
of the
that.
way. No, Gregor can't hear.
No, no, Gregory.
I did
I
not
heard the
say
same
most
thing,
the way. I
and
did not say. I said muscle and
he
motivate.
butchered muscle. You just called
I
him
said
muscle.
I said hustle and motivate. Stop this. Stop this. Stop this. This is not funny.
Oh my god, hustle and motivate is the name. Shout
I
out to
said
hustle.
Shout out to hustle.
You called them muscle and motivate, which actually doesn't sound like a bad name at all. Muscle act, I don't
Muscle and motivate.
but then hustle and most the weight is that's amazing. That's amazing.
Okay. Okay, shout out to him, bro. Make that muscle and most the way. All right, shout out to you guys. Make sure you check out DPS podcast next week on Slow Mo's channel. Going to be live at 9 p.m. Make sure you sub to the channel over there, and appreciate. We got up to 91 viewers. Really appreciate the turnout and the love. Shout out to everybody that did the super chats, all the new members. You guys will definitely be getting more content on this channel. We appreciate you. But outside of that, enjoy the games you're playing. Enjoy the rest of this weekend, and you guys have a great week. Peace.
Peace.